Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. This episode is going to be with my buddy Jason Caldwell from Nose Down Scents. We've been partnered with Nose Down for about a year now, and it is my go-to scent product. If you can hear Smokey in the background, he decided to make an appearance, so sorry about that for the listeners and everyone that's watching. But it's going to be a good episode, man. We're going to talk about everything that Nose Down has coming up for this year, some of the new products, some stuff that Jason's been getting into, and my experiences with the product itself. Before we do that, obviously, we're going to do the partners. I'm going to run through this pretty quick. Jason's about to hop on here. So we got the Bow Hunting League. If you have not signed up yet, go to their Facebook, go to their website. Go get signed up. If you don't have a team, they offer there is a spot on either their Facebook or their website where you can just sign up and then look for other people who don't have a team, and you can become part of a team. If you don't know much about the Bow Hunting League, go listen to our episode. We talk all about it. They are one of our really, really awesome partners, and we're very blessed to be able to, start working with them and see where this goes. Next up is going to be the Boutique. I am going to be sending out some arrows to Michael soon. He's got a pretty good idea, or a pretty cool idea of what he wants to do, and I cannot wait. So the Boutique does custom arrow wraps, arrow builds, all that stuff, man. He is by far the best in the industry. So if you go there and you see, go to his website, boutiquellc.com, and you see something you want, you can use the code SEBHP for free shipping. Next up is going to be Osseo gear. Got all my Osseo ready to roll. Thor actually just got his first set of Osseos, so he's part of the family now, and it's a great company to work with. Awesome product. Joe is by far probably one of the best business owners that I think I've ever met. He's a really cool dude, really good guy, and very blessed to be working with them. So if you go to osseogear.com, you check out everything they have, see some stuff that you want, you can use our code SEBH for 15% off. It's site-wide. Next up is going to be Summit Tree Stands. Yeah, man, got my Dual Threat Pro SD ready to roll. 5 weeks until deer season. When I'm recording this episode, it'll probably be 3 weeks when this episode drops, and I cannot wait to get that tree stand in a tree. And so if you're looking for accessories or a new tree stand or something you're running behind, go to summitstands.com, pick out what you want, and then at checkout use our code SEBH15 also for 15% off. Next up is going to be Scout Tech. My Scout Tech cameras have been running great. If anything, these deer are killing me because I'm already halfway through my data limit, 5 days into the month. So that's going to be interesting. I honestly can't wait till we get those unlimited packages, and it's going to be great. There's a lot of big things come from Scout Tech, so go check them out. They're still running that deal for 2 shadow cameras for $100. So definitely go to scouttech.com and check out what they have and help support them, man. All right, we'll run through these next ones a little quick. Ace Hardware and Social Circle, awesome bow shop. They do most of my bow work if it's something that needs to be done quickly. They cut my arrows for me. They fletch them sometimes. Just all around good dudes. Definitely go give them your business if you feel like either making the drive or going to their shop to have them work on your stuff. Next up is going to be Berge. If you want to get a more in-depth tuning, 15-yard bear shaft, Berge Bowsmith. Go to Berge Bowsmith on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Go to bergebowsmith.com. and send him your bow. He will get you set up right. Berge is an awesome dude. A lot of big things coming from him. VPA, dude, I hope you guys enjoyed last week's with Ryan and Jeff from VPA. I am super excited to use the Omega with bleeders this year. I've got my arrows completely dialed with both an S7 setup and an Omega setup, but I am going to be going heavier with the 150 grain Omega with bleeders. Just waiting for those left bevels to come out, and I will be running those hopefully early in the season, so I get to see what they do. Amazing company, awesome products, over 80 different broadheads that they sell. So if you go to their website and you pick out a broadhead for you, use the code SEBH10 for 10% off site-wide. And they just partnered up with Valkyrie Archery too, so you can check out those broadheads as well. Next up is going to be Dialed Archery. My Dialed Arxos, sorry about that. My Dialed Arxos is completely dialed in, no pun intended. Awesome site, best site I've ever used. Go to dialedarchery.com to order yours, and you can customize like pretty much everything on that site. So it's really, really awesome. Last but not least is going to be Camo Dust. It's the only scent cover product that I trust. the technology behind it is insane. And Chris is a really good dude. They've been growing like crazy. And it's the only thing I've ever used where I've never got winded, as long as you do it right. So Chris will be coming on next month to give another in-depth, I guess, description on how to use it, what's new with them, all that stuff. So it's going to be a really good time. So, like we always do before we start the episode, I got to give a shout out. I have to talk to you guys about Jesus Christ. Sorry to get all preachy with you. I know I'm running through this quick, but if you don't know him, please get to know him. There's a lot of crazy things happening in the world right now. And without him, without having him to turn to and know that he's there for you, I don't see how any of us can get through this. If you're in a dark place, go to him. Please get to know him. Give him a chance. That's all I'm asking. Change my life, and he will change your life too. Nobody can get to the Father except through the Son. So, all right, that's everything. Yeah, man. Look, sorry, I'm rushing a little bit. It's been a crazy evening. But I am ready to get into it with Jason Caldwell from Nose Down. I hope you guys are too. So let's get started. We got my boy Jason from Nose Down once again back on the podcast to talk about everything Nose Down related. That is, I said it in the intro, but that is my scent product of choice, and I've actually had some really good experiences with it over the past year since we partnered up with them. So before we dive into all that nitty gritty stuff, Jason, what's been going on, man? How have things been? I see you're in a new warehouse, much bigger warehouse. It looks like you guys are growing a little bit.
Yeah, we're. I think last time we talked, I might have just quit my day job and started full time, maybe.
Yeah.
So we're a year and a half in now to this growth, and I'm learning a lot about the business. I'm a good salesman, and we make good products, and the products sell themselves. But the business side of it's what I've been struggling learning. How to grow and how to grow safely. Because there's a lot of growth that can happen overnight. That's scary and can really bankrupt you if you ain't careful. So just learning all that and trying to keep up with production and doing tons of trade shows and festivals and trying to get to hit the streets, taking it out there to everyone's hometown, trying to put it in their hands.
Yeah, man. So the last time I saw you, I think was up at the Apple Festival over in Ellijay, I think it was. And I didn't even know you guys were going to be there. Like we pull in and I see the Nose Down trailer. I was like, oh shit. I told my wife, I was like, hey, you guys go off and do that. I need to go over here. And got to see you guys. And I got that Tarsal Extreme from you, which, man, let me tell you, that stuff, yes. So I'll just dive into it, right? Last year I put that out after you gave it to me. I put it on this one spot where I've got that deer trike, that big 6-point that I'm after. And he started hitting it maybe like a couple days after I put it out. And so I was like, all right, cool. Granted, I never got on him because, just timing or whatever. So the season ends, he drops one side and I'm like, all right, he's off the list, but he's still coming up and hitting the scrape.
Yeah.
And he drops both sides. So, then it kind of turns into just feeding him and sort of laid back, not really doing much. Well, I keep cameras running over there all year. And literally, I think it was mid-March, I got photos of him hitting that scrape again. And now he still hits it every 2-3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't refreshed it. That's the crazy part. So he's still coming to it, hitting the licking branch, pawing at the ground, all of that. So whatever y'all put in that, I mean, it works, man. It really works.
What's strange is when I do shows and I talk to people, my first comment to them is, have you ever made any deer urine in your house or anywhere, and they're like, no. I was like, well, this is man-made. There's no deer urine whatsoever in it. It's 100% brewed up here in the lab. So it is a unique blend of stuff, but it's 100% synthetic, legal in 100% of the states, and you don't have to worry about anything. And it is a very good product, to your point.
Dude, I mean, for real. And even on public too. Like I had a deer, because I used it everywhere, right? I use it on public. I use it at that one spot with trike. I used it at another private spot I've got. Had them daylight on that, and I had them daylight on public. The problem with the public buck is he daylighted 3 days after the season was over. And he's standing there just pawing at it, doing the whole deal. And I'm like, God, why couldn't you show up 3 days earlier? I was like, man, because he's outside the ears and he's got some broken tines, but I still would have shot him. Yeah. And I was amazed, dude, honestly, because a lot of companies will come out, and I think we might have talked about this last time. There's a lot of these scent companies like, oh, you spray this, and they'll come right to it, and then it scares them or they don't do it. And y'all stuff, I've never seen that be the case. Like
Right.
I've used the Tarsal Extreme, I've used the Calm Down. I just started using the Scrape Down this year, which has already produced good results. Which is a new thing, I think, for you guys, right?
No, it's one of our flagship brands we've had from day one.
Really?
Our our scrape down gel, it don't get the attention it should,
Yeah.
and it's all we get sidetracked with everything else, and you're going to see more and more of that. But it's definitely worth the look in the scrape down
Oh,
family.
for sure. Yeah, because
But
that's what I bought was the gel. And so we were on public, me, my buddy Josh, and one of his friends came out with us, and we were checking cameras, doing scrapes and stuff. Because none of us plan on going in there until opening weekend, maybe if we even go in then.
yeah,
But we were doing all of that, and so I took some of that scrape down gel, put it in this one spot that I've hunted for years that I know there's deer in there. Usually in October. Crazy thing is, put that scrape down stuff in there, sprayed a little bit of the calm down on the branch because that's all I had,
yeah,
and dude, within 3 days, I had he wasn't a mature deer, but I had a buck on it and already checking it and doing all that. So, I mean, the camera over there is working great. I know that scrape's getting hit. Maybe not as much as I would like, but it's also not really scrape season yet. But just to see that was like,
right.
okay, this obviously catches their attention. So, again, I don't know what you guys put in it, but it works. So, um,
You made a point there, and I'll tell you a real quick story about my deer season last year. And I could run over here to my trailer and grab the antlers and show people, but I may be gone for a second, but it'd be maybe worth seeing.
yeah.
But I killed this stand I hunt in Illinois at my place. It don't matter if it's supposed to be a north, south, east, or west wind. It don't matter. That wind never fails, always blows into the cornfield. I don't give a shit what it's predicted. You can just throw it up in the air and forget it because you're never going to hunt that stand if you hunt it with a good wind because there's never a good wind ever.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times. And I killed 2 deer over 150 out of that tree this year with my
Dang.
bow and with my gun. Let me walk. If y'all don't mind walking, I'll take you for a trip.
Oh boy.
Let me walk out here. But I'll grab these antlers and show you. But if I get a disconnected here, hopefully we don't.
That's fine. I'll pause it.
But we had such great wind, or not great wind for that spot, that I had to use something to help cover the scent, keep me from getting busted. I'm here now. Let me grab these 2 racks and
All right.
I'll set them up. But these 2 deer, man, they came in directly dead downwind. No even thought of me being there. And I'm literally in a 12-foot tall ladder stand. And I got 100 deer, 50 yards from me. And dead, if you'd have dropped a feather or whatever, it would have landed right on that dude's nose. I'm telling you.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was. Get in here where it's cool. It's hot as hell outside.
Yeah,
So
it's still summertime, unfortunately.
yeah. So let me get this phone set back up and I'll show you the one. This one here.
Oof.
This one, if you go to our YouTube channel, our Nose Down Nation YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
I this one with my bow in first part of November.
God, look at that
called
G2.
him- I would have called him the birdie buck had I had him on camera.
Dang,
see-
that's so cool.
Yeah, but he was in the low 50s. He was a good deer. But that was a bow kill. It's on our YouTube channel. Like I said, you can see me using some calm down in there. I like to take and spray it all around me in the tree.
Yep.
I get set down, I'm spraying every branch I can reach. In my tree stand and that old ladder stand got the net seating. I'm spraying, I'm doing all that stuff. And in this one, this was 12 pack. So I got
Dude.
I don't know if you can see him good or not.
My God, that is a beautiful deer.
But again, you can watch this deer take its last meal. I caught it the Last Supper, on our YouTube channel, and this was a shotgun kill in the second shotgun season in Illinois.
Mm.
And funny as it may be, I passed this deer with a bow in October
Why?
because my son was coming up the very next day, and I would have bet you $100 bill he would have killed this deer opening day of the youth season,
Mm-hmm.
and he vanished. It was a cool story because this deer vanished, never seen him again. October the 6th was the last day he was ever seen on camera, ever seen in person, and he completely fell off the grid. And it was funny. I was watching a jury episode of like 13 or one of those shows, and I think a lot of Mark, and he's smart as all get out. But he made me. He had an episode talking about how deer that live in a core area will leave and do their rutting, and then they'll come back eventually, and they'll come home. And it literally, I like did this. I'm self filming. I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm like, we're going in after 12 pack. You know, he's got to come home. And damn if he didn't come out in the field, the only buck, that come out. And I was like, my God, it worked. It was like the deer I went after, the first day I went after him and killed him first shot, first time. But yeah, it was pretty cool hunts. But to the point to what you said about it working, those deer never had a clue I was in there. And in fact, the 9-pointer, I grunted at him, and you can watch him. He pops that head up and he looks, and I hit him again with a grunt call. He turns, he locates me, and he comes. What do? They come dead downwind, checking that. He comes directly dead downwind to me, and I put an old 40-yard rage through. He's double lunged him and rest.
Boy, yeah,
It's great.
That calm down stuff, man. I used it last year. And did exactly what you said. Like I went, got up in the tree, sprayed all the branches around me, and the wind. So like one of my spots is on a lake. So, the wind on a lake is just, you can never trust it. And I had a doe come in, and she was walking down the driveway because it's kind of like a Seek One style hunt, right? Like I'm on 1 acre next to my grandparents' place, pretty much 20 yards off their driveway. And the lake's behind me, so it's a really small spot, but that's where I've got trike at, and there's a ton of does. I mean, it's a really good spot. It's just tiny. And I see the doe herd come walking down, and 2 of them come walking like down the power line. The other 2 go up on the road and start coming down the driveway, and they're going to circle back down to where the feed's at. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to get busted. I'm definitely going to get busted because the wind is going directly at where the does are walking down. And so like I kind of pulled out some of that calm down stuff again, sprayed a little bit as slowly and quietly as I could.
Yeah.
Nothing. Now I should have shot him, but I was waiting for trike. So I was being picky. Right. This year, that's not going to happen. Trike gets 3 weeks where he's the only deer on that property I'm going to shoot. After that, it's fair game. So yeah, it works, man. I mean, it like I said earlier, you get these companies that are like, oh, you do this, it'll work great. And then it doesn't. But y'all stuff does actually work. So
I tell people this, like the difference in me and another brand that may be bigger than us is the fact that I'm going to be sitting in the same spot next year at the Apple Festival or at the World Deer Expo or wherever. And you can come back and you can tell me, man, that stuff's not worth buying, or, oh my gosh. And we hear, oh my gosh, way, way more than we hear it didn't work. Now, Don't get me wrong. There are people who say it didn't work, but there's also, people that believe in Bigfoot. Who knows? But
hold on a second. It's funny you say that. I just had Jared from Onyx on 2 weeks ago, and we talked about that because you know how they have that little Bigfoot icon? I asked him, I was like, where did that come from? He's like, oh man, we just did that. It's kind of like a little, if you got a honey hole and you don't want to show anybody, but someone asks you about this, you can put that there. Even for people who believe in Bigfoot that, go looking for him and stuff. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, man, if I'm ever out there in the woods or I go out west and I see him, there will be a Bigfoot thing right there. And we got in that whole conversation about it. So it's funny as hell that you even bring that up because I'm like, I don't think it's, obviously I don't believe in it, but I also don't put anything past what God created. So I'm just like, if I ever see an 800-pound monkey in the woods, y'all may never see me again because I don't think I could go back. But
but to that, to kind of elaborate on that, is I hunt, obviously. I kill big deer every year. I had a great season last year. I was able to kill a 162 and a 155 and then about 130-inch Tennessee deer. So that was a great, and believe you me, I'm using the thin every single time I go out. There's no way I'm not. We talk with people all the time that says they don't believe in deer sin or it's not worked for them. And I'm like, I have this conversation with them all the time. I'm like, do you turkey hunt? And they say, yes. And I'll say, do you believe in decoys? And they'll say, well, of course. I say, well, I don't. I think decoys scare the hell out of turkeys. And they're like, why would you say that? I'm like, well, the last time I put a decoy out in the field, that gobbler, he ran across the field scared like hell, and they're like, well, that happens. I'm like, well, so does deer scent. It happens. There's scenarios with every hunt that are going to play out, and sometimes it don't work in your favor, and there's nothing you can do about it. But you can go back tomorrow with the same exact deer and throw the same exact scent on him, and he'll come straight to you. You just never know.
Well, they're wild animals. You can't really tell what they're going to do.
But people think that every time you put a doe and heat drag line out, that a buck's just supposed to run straight down it and come straight. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
More often times than not, I don't necessarily kill the deer directly on the scent, but I kill it as a result of using scent. And I may make scrapes. I may have cameras running. I got inventory. I know my deer's there. I'm patient because I've seen them on my mock scrapes I've made. And that helps me be a more successful hunter than the person that don't believe in scent, don't put scrapes out, don't put trail cameras on mock scrapes, because I'm telling you right now, if you're not running mock scrapes, I really feel like you're missing a lot of deer, and pictures. And especially states that bait, we find it often that I don't need to hunt over scent. I pour a bag of corn out. I'm like, well, that's fine. However, those big deer aren't stupid, not to say they're going to come into a scrape any different, but, daylighting on a scrape versus daylighting on a pile of corn, I think you got a little better odds, most likely, on a scrape, not to say you can't, not taking anything away from it. I'm just voicing, that, but.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, man, like, so I bait, I have to, because all the neighbors do it. Right. But what I found, so that scrape I was telling you about, the trike kept on hitting. It was before I moved the bait down a little further, but it was 10 feet from the mock scrape that I made that he turned into a legitimate, like he's using it every so often or every few days. It was 10 feet away from it. And what I basically learned from that is like, okay, some deer, if there's bait here and there's a mature buck in the area that's going to make a scrape, if there's another buck that thinks he's the big dog, but he comes in and sees this scrape and smells it and is like, oh, wait a minute, there's another big buck in here, he's going to stick around more because he's waiting for that deer to come back and hit that scrape and go to the feed. So I feel like it helps both ways.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. And, not to mention, like, the deer are going to obviously put more sign in an area where they're feeding, so the potential for them to lay a scrape in a feeding area is a lot higher because they're spending more time there.
Exactly.
So it makes perfect sense to put a mock scrape within, arm's reach of a corn pile. It don't matter. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, and I just told a buddy of mine to do that because he's new. This is his second year hunting. So he calls me up like 2 or 3 days ago and was like, hey, man, I'm wanting to put a mock scrape in. I got this stuff, but I don't know, like, how far should I do it? I'm like, dude, you got a corn pile? You putting food out? Do it 10, 15 or feet away, and they'll hit it. Just set your camera up where you can see both. They will hit it. Yep. And I'm assuming he went and did it. I haven't heard anything because he doesn't have a cell camera, so he's got to go pull the card. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. Y'all's product has really helped me learn a lot. And I think one of the coolest things about it is, like you were saying, you're going to be at the Apple Festival. You'll be at the World Deer Expo. You guys are going to ATA this year. Like, you're there. So if somebody uses your product and maybe has a problem with it or thinks that they might be doing it wrong, they could come and see you rather than call customer support and wait 3 weeks to never get called back,
Yeah.
So I like how personal it is.
Yeah. take a lot of pride in that, and I answer phone calls and deal with people. And there's obviously could be a day that we get so busy that we can't do it immediately, but as of now, I manage it pretty darn good. I may have the phone on one ear and be mixing deer piss in the other hands, and have my over there making shirts and hats. And it's a family owned business. We're family run. We got one other guy that works with us in terms of not family, but for the most part, it's all us,
Yeah.
just so, but we make everything here. As you seen, I took you a little tour before the show there started, but we got all the equipment here that we make everything. All of our hats, all of our shirts, hoodies, all the deer scents, our scent killers, our body wash. We make everything right here behind me in these four walls. So everything controlled here by us.
Dude, it's so hard to hear that these days, honestly, because a lot of companies will outsource stuff. I mean, I got in an argument with some buddies the other night about like arrows and how a lot of most of these companies, except Easton, have to go overseas. But even Easton will use some overseas stuff for their stuff. And it's like, you just don't really see that much. I think, honestly, you and I want to say Joe Miles from Osseo are probably the only two people I know that I can think of right now that do everything in-house. So that's awesome, man. I love it. And like I said, I'm happy I get to work with you guys. I mean, I'm proud of it. I brag about it all the time. So
now, since we're talking about that, I'm sitting here telling you one thing though we don't make in-house, but we've not talked about yet, is our new e-thermal scent pads.
Yeah. Okay. So what is that? You mentioned it. I apparently didn't know what it was. So let's get into that.
Have you ever heard of the company Fourth Arrow?
Yes.
So the camera arms.
Yeah.
So they reached out to us a few years ago when they introduced the WinScent unit. So WinScent's owned by Fourth Arrow. We partnered up with them on the WinScent deal, have tremendous luck and success with that. So he reached back out to me this past year and asked if we would be interested in doing these e-thermals. So basically it is, and I can show you on the back, it's a pad for your thermocell. I shouldn't have said that. It's a pad for a heated device that would burn this pad, kind of like one of those things I just said. But that's the legalities of things. Is this is just a thermal unit that uses butane to burn. We put our pads in it. This one happens to be our bedding area 51. This is our bedding area scent. Mm-hmm. So you use this at any time of the year. Really good during the early season. The only thing that people ask is, does it have the bug repellent in it? So no, it doesn't. That opens another door, and we can get into it, but we just have chose not to yet. But I personally take my device and I will slide this halfway in, and I'll leave the other one halfway in, and you can burn the smoke for mosquitoes, and then get your bedding area scent out also. And it worked really, really good last year for me.
I'm gonna have to get some of those, because that's really interesting. I didn't even know that you could do something like that.
And we got it in a dough and heat also.
Ooh, okay.
So, we're currently, I have a few left. They're on the trailer for a show, but so I didn't get to dig them out for this. Same idea, just there's 5 in a pack. They come for $20. So basically $4 a piece. And you'll get, I think what they say, 15 hours of heated scent out of these. They claim they're saying about 3 hours per, deal, but I've used it way longer than that. So I don't feel like that's a real accurate number. That's probably very restricted there, not being fair to it. It's probably more like hunt in the morning, hunt in the evening, hunt the next morning, and still be smelling it strong. So
I'm going to have to try that on Public this year, because Public is the only spot that I truly have seen like actual rut activity. My lake spot, I never see it. My other spot, I've seen it on camera. I've never seen it in person, mainly because I'm not there when they're doing it, which that's going to change this year. But yeah, I'm going to have to try that the dough and heat one, because that on Public, I think, is going to be killer.
Well, and that we hear a lot of people like I'm not giving up my Thermacell or whatever for, this because I got to have the mosquitoes. They'll carry me off. I'm like, think about it during the rut. You're not going to have it out for that typically.
Yeah.
For doe and heat time, you're done. Put the Thermacell up for the year, and you're not even fooling with that, So you drag it back out, slap a doe and heat on it, hang it out, and let the wind do its thing.
Dude, that's so cool. That's not even something I've thought of that like would possibly be a scent product.
Really well. And if you didn't have a heated device, you can just hang them on a tree branch like a scent wick. They're saturated in it, and you set them on the ground in a scrape. You could do anything. I mean, it'll work just the same. But obviously, heat's going to get the smell out, going to put it down a lot better.
Dude, that's so cool. I'm so excited to try that. That's awesome.
They're neat. But yeah, so I'll tell you our schedule of events too. Let's cover that if you're interested.
Yeah.
We have been on the move this year. Like we have about 50 shows booked this year. So we start in February and we end in late October. A lot of people are like, man, are you glad that show season's over? I'm like, shit, ours is just getting going really heavy. Yeah. Because we do a lot of smaller venues and try to get into the Joe Blow, just guys' backyard, not just the big, huge deer expos. But next Saturday, no, 2 Saturdays, well, 2 weekends, let's say from now, we'll be in Perry, Georgia at the Buckarama.
Nice.
I don't know if I plan on airing this, but maybe if it's not happened yet, then you can go.
It'll be, so you said not this weekend, but the following?
That's right.
Okay. It'll be probably dropping honestly the week after that.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. If you don't make it here, the next deal we got going is Northern Indiana. We'll be at the very top, 11-hour drive for me to get there, but it's a blueberry festival in Plymouth, Indiana. So the 30 days before deer season starts, 800,000 attendees they claim. So should be a big deal.
800,000?
What they say. And I mean, to give people a perspective, that Harrisburg, Pennsylvania NRA show is about 250, 300,000 in a 9-day turnaround. This is 800,000 in 4 days. So
wow.
If that's the case, it should be busy, should be a great place to come out and check us out. Then after that, we have Caledonia, Mississippi coming on, Unicoi, Tennessee. We have Ellijay, Georgia, where you met us there at the Apple Festival.
Which I'll probably see y'all there this year because we go every year. So.
Yep. Be there. That's a great event for us. We have such a following in that community, and we've been there for 2 or 3 years. So a lot of people come out just to say hi and snag a new hat, and then, oh man, I can't even remember all of them, but we'll be in Lexington, North Carolina at a barbecue festival in late October. So if there's people, we're going to be there. And if there's people there, just like you said, I think I know where I'm going. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yep.
So that's all that I do with these shows is it don't have to be the big world deer expos and all that. It can be anywhere that hunters are going to go with their wives, and we give something to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, you give us hunters something to go check out while they're looking at like little arts and crafts things.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way.
That's a big thing that I really like about Nose Down is that you guys aren't just, and I know I kind of said it earlier, but you guys aren't just going to the big shows and focusing on one demographic. You're there and you never know, dude. You could be at like the Apple Festival, right? There could be some kid who is like me at 8 years old who loves deer and loves hunting, but doesn't get to do it and sees that. And even though he might not get to start hunting, it still kind of reinforces that love of the outdoors and love of deer and hunting that he gets his kicks when he gets to see you guys.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you a real funny, well, not funny, but an amazing story to me was we were at the Honeybee Festival this year in Lafayette, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little guy come up, had his baseball uniform on, probably 10, maybe 11. I don't know. Mom and dad's there. He just liked our hats. He wasn't a hunter, but he just wanted a new hat.
Yeah.
And we talked and we high-fived and we talked baseball and we talked deer hunting and he held them deer antlers and oh my gosh. Well, we were at the GON Outdoor Blast and his mama and his daddy and they came and he come in my booth wearing that same hat and he goes, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Well, yeah, I remember you. You're my little baseball player from Lafayette." And he goes, "Yep." He goes, "I'm going deer hunting this year." And his mama said, ever since he met you and that day, he has turned on a switch for deer hunting. And I
Oh
don't
man.
know where he gets it because his daddy don't hunt. Nobody hunts. But we have had to take this boy and buy him stuff. And she said, "I want you to know it's your fault."
Yep. Yep.
Right?
You changed that kid's life, man.
Hey,
And his wallet.
but that's the thing, we people that don't go to deer expos, that don't go just because their dad or their grandpa, they come by and they see a cool hat, and then next thing you know, we're talking deer hunting, and you never know.
That's wild. I love
Yep.
stories like that, man. I really do. Because it makes me, like I said, it makes me think of me as a kid, where
Oh yeah,
I probably wouldn't have left y'all's booth. If I was that kid
yeah.
and I just
Oh,
saw it, I'd be like, oh, deer. I'd stay in the booth. Yeah, I did it the whole time. So that's awesome, dude. So what else is coming? Like, what's some newer products? I know you've got the pads. I know we kind of talked a little bit about the scrape down gel, which is that a new product, or have I just not seen it before?
it's not a new product. It's been
Okay.
around. We just not put a lot of emphasis on it, and I'll be honest. We talked about it already, but we're a one man band here, so um, it's all we can do days to produce the products, do the shows, and we don't really have a lot of time to think about new and improving. And because I mean, honestly, we're very limited on time at this moment.
Yeah.
So we do have people say, "When are you going to come out with some dust or this or that?" And I'm like, maybe one day we'll get some time, but right now we're just doing all we can do to keep orders filled, keep doing what we're doing correctly and growing and going to shows and introducing, spreading the gospel of the deer scent.
I heard that. I mean, it's like what they usually say, man. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I haven't
Right.
seen anything that you guys offer that I'm like, I wouldn't try that, you know? And that speaks volumes to me because like I was saying before, a lot of companies have gimmicky things. You guys don't have any of that. And the product works. That's the thing. Like it works. So man, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how many, and I don't know how else to say it, but how many renditions or of deer piss can you do? Really,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of gimmicks out there, from sticking a sticker on it saying it's this year or whatever it may be, that could or could not be true. But the proof's in the pudding and what works. And I can say that we have a lot of repeat business, and you can tell people at the shows, man, when I'm sitting there giving a spiel, talking to a brand new customer and they're not buying it, or they're, skeptical, we'll have that one, and it never fails. It always happens. There'll be someone walk straight to the scent rack and just start pulling stuff. And I'll tell that guy, "Hold on a minute. Have you used our product, sir?" And they'll say, "Oh my gosh, yes, I do." And then I just turn them loose, and they're
Yep.
with that, and they're talking. And next thing you know, the guy's coming over and he's buying it. And I'm like, "Look, man, I don't care if you buy it or not. I'm just here to introduce the brand to you, show you what benefits it's got, the differences between fresh, collected, bottled, took care of product versus a warehouse stock slap full of stuff in 2 years ago that you're selling at Walmart this year."
Hmm.
There's a benefit. A deer has an exceptional nose, and a lot of people, they're like, "Well, I kill my own deer and I get the bladder out and I use fresh deer pee," and that's fine. But those doe and estrus smells aren't the urine that you're after. Like we talked, I think in the earlier episode, you're after the vaginal secretions of that
Yep.
doe, pheromones. The only way that you typically collect those is through the urine as they pee. And that's why we collect the urine, and that's why we use the doe and heat pee, but it's the values inside that pee that we're after. So to get a doe and kill her and cut her open and get her bladder out, it's not doing anything
Yeah.
for those, smells that a buck's targeting during the rut.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that I've actually learned recently from you, I guess recently in the past year, is, when I first started, I was like, oh, deer pee. Okay, yeah, I've smelled it. It smells terrible, but the deer love it. So there's something in it, right? I didn't realize until I talked with you that it's really not, the pee itself. It's the glands, it's the, like you said, the secretions and stuff. I mean, that's why like the Tarsal Extreme, I think, is fantastic. Even if it's full synthetic, whatever that scent is that they like from the, like, say a buck, pees on his hocks or whatever in a scrape, whatever that is, you guys figured it out and it works. And
Right.
it also stays longer too, because pee, ammonia is gone in what, 30 minutes?
Right. That's the
And
point.
yeah, the glands and all that has that oily base, and then it actually stays there and then gets amplified when it rains. Now, obviously, you get a washout, you have to refresh it. But when you get like a sprinkling or just a regular rain, I've noticed that these deer, I mean, I've got it down now. When it rains, I know they're going to be on there either a couple hours after or the next day, and they're checking scrapes because that scent is so much stronger. So, yeah, you
And
taught me a lot with this, man, honestly.
I'll give your listeners a tip too. I always take a gallon of water with me to a scrape when I'm making it.
Mhm.
So like, I'm leaving for Illinois in the morning, and I'm going to go up to my place and put some food plots in, hang some cameras. I'm looking for a big one that made it, to my knowledge. But if he lived this year, he's going to be a sure enough giant. But anyway, when I go make my first mock scrapes, I'm going to wet the ground. If it's really, really dry out, and which we've not had a lot of that here lately, it's been pretty wet. But if it's super dry outside, I'll take a gallon of water and I'll pour half of it in the scrape and get it good and moist, and then let it stand into it after it's kind of set there for 5 or so minutes, and then put all my camera and everything on, and you'll see a difference in your scrapes.
Huh. I'm about to try that. So
It's a good
that makes me think of, I guess, a tactic I want to ask you about. So with the scrape down gel, what would be the best application for that? And how does that whole thing work? Like, would I do that with, I wet the ground, put the gel in it after about 5 minutes and then just leave it? Or do I just scrape the ground, say it's been dry for a few days, throw it out there and get ready to go? I mean,
it's like anything. There's always what I want to say. There's a reason that we do things, and the only reason I'm really wetting the scrape is if it's super dry outside. Now I feel like that gets the scent up, kind of like you said. After it rains, everything's a little fresh and you smell it. So I feel like wetting that ground and getting it good and saturated before you apply your scent will help it get started and get the deer in it quicker. And it'll scent longer, because if you just spray it on top of the really, really dry ground, it's going to soak it up and evaporate. So if you really wet that ground good, I feel like it helps a lot. But as far as the gel goes, I would spray my licking branch with your scrape down spray. I would saturate the ground around the perimeter of the scrape with your scrape down spray, or even your bully buck spray, your buck pee. And then I would open the jar of the gel, and I would kick off maybe 15 or 20 of the little pellets that are in there into the scrape. And what that'll do is, inside that jar, you have 2 ounces of liquid that has been soaked up with polymer. So just like a baby diaper, when a baby pees in a diaper or something, catches it and collects it where it don't run out the legs, and that's polymer. So polymer is an absorbent, and it will absorb anything that it gets into. At some point, it's got a breaking point though, where it's going to push out other, like you see a baby running around with a sagging diaper, it's about to the breaking point.
Yep.
Same difference with this is we put these in a scrape. They have all the smells soaked up inside of them. It lasts for a lot longer. And then as it catches humidity and dew in the mornings, and then if it were to rain, it's going to expand and it's going to push out the scent that's in it, and it's going to get out into the scrape a little more. But like you said, if it's a washout, all bets are off the table, but just your typical normal rain, then it's great for it.
So have you run across anybody who just doesn't know how to do scrapes. Like basically meaning they get your stuff, they don't spray it, they completely take the bottle cap off and pour the whole thing down. Like if you had to tell people like, listen, you don't want to dump the whole bottle, is that something you run across a lot?
No, I don't necessarily see that. And to be quite honest with you, I'm going to tell people opposite of that sometimes because I'm trying to mimic what that doe's doing or that buck's doing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're peeing in a scrape. They're not, you know. And I tell people if your budget allows it and you can do it, you'll have better luck pouring it to it
Hmm.
because you're trying to replicate that smell in the wild of a natural deer using the restroom. So,
Yeah.
um, again, everyone's budget don't allow for multiple bottles to be purchased every time they go make a scrape. But me personally, when I go to a scrape, I'm spraying it. I may just, I'm
Huh.
pouring.
Okay.
You're not going to hurt anything that way. In fact, I think it makes it better. Most of my hunters that I deal with that are really liberal with it, put it to it, I hear better stories, that they tell from it. Now, not to say that the guy that's just spraying 2 or 3 sprays won't get results because he will. Like we talked about in the past, the biggest thing you're trying to do is replicate that dog peeing on a tire.
Yeah.
So it don't take a lot of scent to get that dog on the tire. All you got to have is a drop on there and he'll smell it, go over there, pee on that tire. And that's what these bucks are going to do. Ideally is they're going to smell another buck, go over there, pee on the tire, and they're going to keep it rolling and then come back to it over and over and over.
Okay. Yeah, because I've always thought like when I first started making scrapes, I thought, okay, take the whole bottle, dump it. And then somebody told me, I forget who it was, but someone was like, nah, you don't want to do that. You want to just do like 4 or 5 sprays. You don't want to oversaturate it, yada, yada, yada. So I started doing that. It sounds like both ways work. Because honestly, I still had deer on
Oh
camera and
yeah,
everything. So
there's no way to do it, but I'm trying to mimic what's happening in the wild.
yeah.
You know, and a deer is when they pee, they pee. They'll
Yeah.
turn loose. They'll put a cup in there. So I may not do that, but I'm going to put a healthy dose in there just to keep the scent. Or that's where the scrape gel works great, where you don't have to use so much, and you can put just a teaspoon in there, and it'll hold that scent for days.
Okay. So another thing I was thinking about, because you were talking about like when we were talking about products and new things coming down the line and all that, I had a thought. I actually had 2 thoughts. Um, have there been any plans or thoughts of doing anything? And I know it's not the same brand, but it's the only way I can really describe it. But like a branch butter style product. And have you guys also thought about doing like a pre-orbital gland spray?
Okay, so I'll touch both those questions individually.
Okay.
Our scrape is our preorbital gland scent.
Oh, okay.
It has preorbital inside of it. It has interdigital. It has tarsal gland. We could absolutely 100% make a preorbital gland, slap a label on it, and sell it to people. Probably be a great marketing campaign for us.
Yeah.
However, the scrape down will do equally what that'll do plus some.
Gotcha.
So there's already a package there. Now, is it marketed correctly? Maybe not. But maybe that's what we've noticed, like with the Tarsal Extreme. Just because it says Tarsal on it, it locates eyeballs and people see it and they're going, oh, tarsal scent.
Yeah.
But what tarsal glands are, so they buy it. Our bedding area 51, people buy it because it says bedding area.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are strategies, to up sales. Scrape down may be a confusing name, don't know. But if we were to put preorbital on there, just solid, and just say, this is what you do, preorbital gland, I feel like we'd just be rebottling the same thing we're already making and putting a different label on it.
Yeah. I mean, the name Scrape Down works. I think it's a great name. It's just, I wasn't sure if that was in there. Because to me, when I hear Scrape Down, I think, all right, get 1 bottle, get a container of gel, go make a scrape. Spray the bottle on the branch, put the gel in the scrape, you're done.
Yeah.
So
if you read the bottle, it'll tell you what's in it, and it'll actually tell you there's preorbital, interdigital gland, and tarsal gland mixed in there. So
okay. So is that all natural or is that synthetic as well?
No, it's natural.
Natural. Got it. Okay. Cool.
And, that's something we do outsource because I don't know what you know about collecting glands and making scents. It's got to come from a dead deer. So you got to get that from butcher houses and things like that. And,
Hmm.
we don't have the time to deal with that. We got a guy that does it for us, and we just, get that. And then we make our mixture with that. So,
Okay.
but it's been phenomenal.
Gotcha. So the branch butter idea or something like it. I know branch butter is kind of like another, probably copyrighted name or whatever, but that's all I know to call it.
It's just a compound similar to like a toothpaste thought,
Mhm.
Yeah, we have definitely thought of that. Again, we're trying right now to really hone in on our nuts and bolts of the business and grow what we can grow
Yeah.
before we do sidetracked and chasing other brands things that they're already doing. So right now our focus is mostly on our dealer networks and getting into more and more and more stores, before we really innovate new things and spend that money, because anything new costs money.
Yeah, for sure.
And we have to get our dealer network a little more healthy. We're about 300 dealers right now, but I would like to be 700, 1,000 dealers, in the next 2 years.
Okay.
And to do that, I mean, I got to get time to make, adjustments with some of our things, no doubt, but also, got to focus on that side of it as well. And I just be honest, I've not had a lot of time between doing
Yeah.
all the 50 shows and making all the hats and doing all that stuff, to really focus on trying to do that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want, man, I can talk to my local shop. Actually, I got two of them. I could probably, put it in their ear like, hey, look, you guys aren't carrying nose down. Think you're missing out. Not to add to your workload, but
Now,
it sounds like a good problem to have.
oh yeah, we want that, but our name, and I say this really openly, but you can put a terrible product in a flashy container, name it something really cool, and sell the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've done is we've took a great name with a great logo, with a great bottle packaging, and we put a great product in it, and we sell it. Every store we put it in sells really, really good. So if you're a dealer out there listening and you'd like to try it, we have packages, to start with the smallest of small stores up to we service Shields and some bigger stores, in the Midwest. So it's definitely something to think about. Our margins are really high. We're between 40 and 45 points, and that speaks, money to the stores.
Wow.
So it makes, it's a great numbers, and our hat game is so strong
Yeah,
that,
y'all's hats is I haven't seen anything else out there that's really got the variety that y'all do.
and it creates a lot of trouble for us. I ain't gonna lie, when I could walk you over there right now and show you our hat rack we're building for Perry, Georgia, and it's just like I got workers here that are making hats. They're like, "What do you want on here?" I'm like, "Just throw stuff together. It don't matter."
Yeah.
But then
Surprise
that
me.
you can't do that. It's hard to grow, and structure something based on just wild ass hat ideas.
Yeah. I mean, you
So
never know, man. You could have someone make a hat, or you can make a hat that goes viral, and that's just where things start going
oh
even
yeah,
faster. I mean, you and I both know how this whole TikTok, Instagram, social
oh yeah,
media thing works, and it's great. But all it takes is one thing. I mean, look at that Hawk Tua girl. No one
oh
knew
yeah.
who she was, and now she's making like $1 million or something like that, and all for saying one thing.
I
So
know,
you never
but
know, man.
oh no, you don't. But we, our stores. Hold on a second here. I had a low battery. We got low batteries.
Uh-oh.
Um, I had our stores though. What I was going to say was, I tell all of our dealers and we have so many people that are skeptical of hats, and it blows my mind because that's the most money we make is like in a dealer network is hats. I mean, you can put those hats in a funeral home and they will sell. I don't care where you put them. They sell. Every store we put them in, they sell out. So I tell every store, like try the hats. Deer season comes, you'll have 100 people in your community walking around with a nose down hat on. what do you think's going to happen when deer season rolls around and you got nose down deer scent sitting on your shelf too?
Yeah.
They're right, because they're curious enough because, hey, I got 3 of their hats already. And then they're going to try it, and then it's going to go into the field and it's going to work for them. And then they're going to reorder or rebuy or tell a buddy. And that's what we see every day with all these stores. But you just got to try it. And that's the problem we find with our little brand is little brands get trumped by big marketing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the uphill battle that you guys have. But the thing is, like, y'all's product works, and it might take an extra couple of years, but either way, I know you guys are going to get to that point where it's like nose down is, top of the list, because eventually the stuff that doesn't work as well, people start realizing it. Like, dude, and I don't mean to name drop anybody, but I know a lot of guys that used to use Tinks, and they used to tell me all the time that, oh, it's the best stuff. And for whatever reason, it stopped working. And so I was like, all right, well, look, hey, you're having problems. Why don't you try this nose down stuff? Now I've got 3 or 4 buddies of mine that's all they use. They won't use anything else. So it'll I know you guys are growing. Like I said earlier, you have a pretty good problem to have. And I know it's just going to get better. So, I mean, so one thing I wanted to ask you is, like, where can people find y'all stuff? Like, say just some random person, wants to go pick it up, but they don't know where like a local bow shop is or one of your dealers. You said Shields. Are you guys in like a Bass Pro or Cabela's or anything like that?
No, we're not in any big. Shields is our biggest customer in terms of like that kind of company. We're in a ton of Ace Hardwares, local mom and pop stores. They're hit and miss with us, The ATA show hopefully will help with that a little bit, get brand recognition out there, give them the opportunity to pick up a program early January, February to program an order where they can get involved early before their budget's spent. Mm-hmm. That's what we do all the time. When we walk into, your local archery shop and we talk to them about our brand, they're like, well, man, I would, but we've already bought everything we buy at the ATA show or at our buyer, our Sports Inc. show or whatever. So their budget is shot by the time I get to them. So, but if you want to buy our brand right now, my best advice would get on our website, the nosedownscents.com, and there's a dealer locator on there, and you can punch in your zip code and it'll show you your nearest store. That's an easy way. Our website, you don't have to go to the store. You walk to the mailbox and you open it up and boom, it's in there. And that's the easiest way really to get it. But like I said, we do have about, 275, 300 stores somewhere in that neighborhood that actively stock our brand. And we're from Tennessee, so most of our people are in the Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, this tri-state area. But Illinois, we got quite a few dealers. Mississippi, we're growing. Out west, Oklahoma, South Dakota, we got stores. New York, Pennsylvania, but few and far between. The further away from our core you get, the further apart the stores are obviously going to be.
Yeah. Well, all right. So you keep saying things that make me think of things I wanted to ask you earlier. Okay. You mentioned Illinois a couple of times. So me and my buddy Thor, which I don't know if you know Thor, but we are planning on going to Illinois next year to hunt public land.
Okay.
What do we need to do? Do what?
There's no deer in Illinois. They died.
Oh, I've heard. I grew up there. I didn't see a single deer, but we're gonna try. I mean, what should we expect, man? Like, because being from there, my only experience is when I was a kid going to like some nature preserve that no one can hunt, and you go out and there's deer in the field every single night. I know it's not like that on public land. So like, what tactics, I guess, would you say would be the best thing to do? We're gonna e-scout. Obviously, we're going during the rut, so I'm going to bring nose down with me. But like, what if you were me? What would you plan on doing?
I would plan on being there November the 5th through the 15th. That's the dates I recommend. And to me, if you're there those 10 days, you will hit the rut somehow, some way. That's the first is timing. Timing's everything. I don't worry a whole lot personally about going out and doing all these trail cameras in the summertime there because I don't have deer usually on my place in the summertime like I will in the rut. Mm-hmm. But if I'm hunting something like that, I'm definitely laying mock scrapes in the evenings when I get down out of the tree and it's dark, my flashlight's on my head, I'm going to the truck. I'm gonna if I'm planning on hunting there in the morning, I'm gonna work 20, 30 yards out in front of my stand. I'm gonna go make a fresh scrape.
Okay.
I'm gonna hope one hits it at night while I'm gone. That's the point of it.
Mhm.
And then the next morning, hopefully, he may or may not come back by and check the scrape. But hey, you're rattling, you're grunt, something blind, and he hears it. Hey, I smelled it last night. I was in the scrape. He may come investigate more.
Okay.
I had a lot of good luck with that kind of tactic with that, in the Midwest, especially somewhere, you're leaving after the evening hunt. That's a great time to do it. Morning time, I'm dragging a drag line in, on my way to, and then of course, the evening, I'm gonna probably do the same thing.
Mhm.
But the scrapes in the evening times, my little golden tip of the day.
Okay.
I've done really good with that. I couldn't tell you how many deer I've killed that I had trail camera pictures of in the middle of the night in that scrape and kill them the next day.
Hmm.
And they weren't coming to the scrape, but I rattled and got their attention and they came in. Now didn't have them before, made a scrape, had them, kill them the next day. I draw conclusions if you want, but I think it worked.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
So do they because down here in Georgia, I've only had two, two bucks respond to calling in the 5.5, 6 years I've been doing this. So in the Midwest, are they more receptive usually?
Oh yeah, they
seen?
play the game a lot
They
better
do?
there.
Okay. Yeah, because here, man, I mean, I've told the story 1,000 times. I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but I did call in what I think was probably a 150, 160 on public 3 years ago. And I just did the bleat can grunt call. There was a mock scrape about 20 yards in front of me. I just wasn't facing the right way. He came up from behind me, scared the crap out. Well, didn't really scare me, but I scared the crap out of him. And then he ran off. I never saw him again. Other than that, I've been trying multiple different ways of calling, and I've never had it work. So,
Right.
All right. So up there, and you would say hit the call and rattle too?
I'm gonna let the morning, like me personally, I'm gonna let the morning unfold, for a couple hours, let
Mhm.
run its course, and then if nothing's going on, then obviously, depending on the phase of the rut that I think they're in, rattling may be a tactic, grunting obviously, but it's just really what phase them deer seem to be in. If they're in the chasing phase, then hardly ever does it work, period, because they're too busy running. But if they're in the seeking phase and they're looking, then yeah, I've had it work many times. Matter of fact, go watch our nose down this guy right here. You'll see him. I killed this deer grunting him in 100%. So you go watch the video and you'll see it. He was out in the field with some does and I grunted and like I said, he popped that head up. Then I grunted again. He looked and then it was just in a second. He would come right to me.
I'm gonna have to watch that tonight. I always
Oh,
forget that you guys have that YouTube channel because I'm subscribed to so many different things that all my notifications, I'll wake up and it's like 30 notifications and I just click it and then go out because I
right.
don't have time in the morning, check all that.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, it's like some of the big channels, it's just me self-filming myself and my son, but it's not a nose down commercial by any means. It's just us hunting,
yeah,
nothing. We may show the products in use if we use them. If we didn't, we don't, it's not anything like that, but it's just something fun for me to do, self-filming. And like I said, to kill 150-inch deer self-filming them, I felt like I was a good accomplishment for me.
Well, you killed over 350 or 300 inches of bone last year, so I think it was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a great season, dude.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great season. And like I said, this year Trump's on my list. And if you are listening, mark that name down because Trump is my big boy that I hunted last year. Hoping I would never see him because I would have killed him last year. And I didn't see him until I killed the 12-pointer, the 12-pack deer. And then the very next day I seen Trump. So I was tagged out and the deer I was after, I seen. But he was probably 180-inch deer last year. And this year, if he lived and he was the last day of the last shotgun season, so really, really good chance he did. He should be a sure enough 200-inch deer this year.
Dude, I can see it now. You kill that deer, and he becomes the face of the new nose down ad. That's oh man, that's amazing. See, that's the thing about Illinois, dude, is being from there, I've seen big deer, right?
Oh yeah.
And I've got buddies that hunt it. You guys hunt it. And, the place that me and Thor and a couple other buddies are planning on going to, I think some guy killed like a 190 on it a couple years ago or last year or something like that. And, obviously I know how it is. Like my boys at working class, they always say, people think Illinois, there's 150-inch deer around every corner. That's not the case, but there's more of them over there than there are here in Georgia. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just excited. It's going to be tough though, because like we're not going to have time to go up there and scout. All of our scouting is going to be e-scouting. Like we won't have any cameras. We won't be able to do mock scrapes till we get there. Right. So it's going to be a challenge, but honestly, I'm going for the trip. I don't even care about, I do obviously want to kill a deer, but my biggest deer is over here at 102. If I kill anything bigger than that, I'm happy. So I don't know, man.
Going.
Well, we haven't solidified it yet. Probably November. That's kind of what we've been discussing is like the first week or two of November.
Yeah. Well, in just my experience, are you going to the southern part, northern, central?
You know where Lake Shelbyville is?
No, I don't.
No, I think because I used to go camping up there all the time as a kid, right? So when Thor told me that, I was like, oh, dude, I know that area. I want to say it's like southern. Oh, man. I want to say it's like southeast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in that case, I would, if you could, definitely look at the 5th through the 15th. And I'm not saying it to brag, but I've killed 3 deer over 170 with a bow, 3 or 4 over 160, and a handful of 50s, and they've all been within that window. So every big deer I've ever killed up there has all fell in the 5th through the 15th, somewhere, sometime or another. Are you okay?
I'm speechless. So, okay, now I got to ask you, how many deer over 150 do you have?
Probably 8 or 10, somewhere like that.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, I can make a picture and you can attach it or something, but it's in my other shop. I've not moved everything out here yet, but I killed this past year I had 2 over 150, and then I've killed a 160 some, like I said, probably about 8 to 12. I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's insane. I knew you've killed big deer. I didn't know you had that many. That's wild.
I killed one of my better deer that I like to talk about is my 8-pointer. He was a 152-inch 8-pointer, and a lot of people have never seen a real legitimate 150-inch 8-pointer. And he was a toad. He had 16-inch G2s and 14-inch G3s. But I can see that he was a dandy. But you can see, like I said, these 2 deer here. Let me flip it around. You can maybe, if I can figure out how to flip this thing. So those 2. And then, like I said, I can show you our wall in the other room. I got 6 or 8 in there probably.
Yeah. If you're able to put a picture together of all of that and send it to me, I will put that in the promo. That might even actually be like the title card photo that I use, because I always do that for the YouTube channel or for the YouTube video. So if you can get if they're all on the wall, if you can get a photo of all of them, that's what I'll use for like the title. Because that's insane, dude. Wow, I have a lot of work to do. That's insane.
It's all about timing to me. Yeah. you can hunt October all you want. I don't have any use for it there myself.
Mhm.
I've never killed a deer. Not to say that people don't, because they do. But me personally, and all my years there, hold on.
All right, we are back. We got disconnected, but we are good now. So we're looking at the beautiful wall that Jason's got.
Okay, this one here, let me figure this thing out. I'll show you a couple of my bigger deer. That's the 8-pointer that I was telling you about.
Good Lord, man.
He was a good deer. He was in the low 50s, like I said, as an 8-pointer. This one here, I killed him with a bow. And it's hard to tell, but he has all kinds of junk going on
I
his
can
rack.
see it.
And he was, I can't remember now, in the low 50s. This one I killed with a bow. He was in the 50s. There's a 9-pointer. That one up there was my biggest deer. And he's a 7x7. He was 174 officially scored.
Wow.
And then this one right over here, he's a tank, but he has all kinds of stuff going on back there. He's got all kinds of points. And like I said, his bases are huge. And then in the house in there, we have another wall just like this one in my house that we're not going in, but there's 3 in there that's over 160s.
Jeez, man.
But and then I had these 2 deer from this year that I killed. So
That's amazing.
But anyway,
that's so cool.
But yeah, it was just some of the deer that I've been fortunate to see and harvest. And then, I got some other ones over there that are not anywhere big at all, but they're a nice deer.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, it's been a good place to hunt for me, and we've had a lot of fun up there. But anyway,
you got me excited to go to Illinois now. I mean, I know Thor is going to listen to this and be all jacked up on it. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good trip, like we might stop in and see the working class guys. We might stop in the VPA, I guess, headquarters and go check out everything they're doing. Shoot, man, if we pass you guys, even might send you a text and say, hey, man, you got 20 minutes?
That sounds good, man. That sounds good. But I guess we're going to have to wrap it up because my phone's not going to last any longer. It's beeping on me now. So
that's all good. All right. So before we wrap it up, where can we find you guys? What's one thing you want the listeners to hear, for the viewers to hear that, is, I guess, going to get them even more excited about Nose Down than they probably already are?
Well, I guess that you've seen, I'm a hunter. So first, God, I about fell. So first and foremost is that we don't take it lightly. It's not just money for us. We're actually using the products, putting them in, the field, proving them, showing people how they're using them. We're out in the public eye. We're going out and seeking people to talk to them and shake their hand and hope that they give us a shot and an opportunity. So that's the biggest thing is I want people to understand that we're just not a big, huge company. Like a lot of people think we're like huge. And we're not, we're just a small guys, and we got a big name, but small guys. So just give us a try this fall. Get on our website. If you can't find a dealer near you, it's a great place to, visit and shop. So, but that's the biggest thing is I just want everybody to know that we are approachable. We're talkative. We'll answer any question you have. And if you need help using a product or anything like that, by all means, definitely, get with us.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you, Jason, for coming on, man. You got me hyped. I'm gonna go on the website tonight and see what else I can get because I need to up my Nose Down arsenal a bit because scrapes are getting hit now. So I am definitely gonna be putting stuff out for sure.
And you gotta have a lucky hat too.
Yes, so I need a lucky hat. I need to pick one up.
And you can kill all here, but you gotta look good when you do it, right?
Ain't that right, man? Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming on, dude. I had a good time.
Absolutely, man. It's good talking to you guys and good luck this fall. Hope everybody out there listening, stay safe, wear your hunter safety system or whatever fall restraint system you use. Cause I tell everybody we can't sell pee to a dead man. So
that's true.
That's right. Don't take
awesome,
care
man.
and families, guys.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, guys. Y'all have a good day.
You too, boss.
All right.